name is Kathy, and today I'll continue the discussion on Bach Flower Essences and their practical use, continuing with their use on ailments. Today, we will look at the ailments that these essences can help with, continuing with the letter S, third part. But before I do this, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Stage fright. For stage fright, use cherry plum, gentian, heather, hornbeam, impatiens, larch, mimulus, and star of Bethlehem. Cherry plum works for inner tranquility. Gentian is for inner confidence. Heather counters the fear of disgrace. Hornbeam fights feelings of inadequacy. Impatience alleviates nervousness. Larch instills more self-confidence. Mimulus minimizes timidity. For stage fright with negative experiences, use Star of Bethlehem. Stomach ailments. When connection between mind and body is especially clear in the stomach, it can become ill when it receives too much or too little of the wrong kinds of food. For the stomach, the world consists of food that must be processed and digested, just as the psyche must process and digest certain life situations and problems. When we're faced with a great challenge or responsibility, the stomach reacts just as if it had a load of food to digest. It responds by boosting the production of acids, which in turn eat away at the stomach's mucus lining. Essentially, it ends up digesting itself, and the result is heartburn and pain. In such cases, the causes of stress should be limited. Use elm when we feel we have taken on too much and are afraid of failing. Use impatience when we are always in a rush. Use mimulus when we're afraid of an upcoming responsibility or test. This can be combined with larch as well. Use oak when we have taken on more than we can handle but don't know when to give up. For gastritis caused by envy or greed, use chicory and holly. The feeling that we don't receive what we deserve is similar to the stomach's feeling of hunger. An empty stomach eats itself up, so to speak. We should try to be content with what we have. This combination helps suppress envy and anger. For gastritis and ulcers caused by anger and annoyance, suppressed anger has the same effect as that of indigestible, inedible food. It eats away at the stomach. Over time, gastritis can become an ulcer, a wound in the stomach's mucus lining. In severe cases, it can even become cancer. Anger that arises from family situations can be especially devastating. It develops over a long period of time, and we try to keep it quiet so as not to rock the boat. If we cannot find a way of avoiding this anger, for example, by leaving the family, we must try to change our attitude. Use holly for long-term irritability or rage. Use Star of Bethlehem when we take things too seriously. Use willow to enable us to forgive and forget. Stress. Theoretically, stress is caused by greed or a lack of discipline. It is a sign that we have passed the limits of what we can safely achieve. Long-term stress is harmful because it inhibits the body's normal processes of detoxification and regeneration. Short periods of stress can make us ill, while long periods of stress can kill us. For stress due to secrecy and artificiality, use agrimony. When we try to disguise or hide our true nature, we are going against our own best interests and also afraid of being found out. For stress due to suppressed drives and emotions, use cherry plum. When we suppress important natural drives and emotions, we only create stress because this must be done forcefully. For the acute sense of stress and overwork, use elm. Elm is useful when an important job or responsibility makes us feel so stressed that we are in danger of a collapse. For stress due to impatience, use impatience. Hastily impatient people often find themselves stressed when they are held up for any reason. For stress due to fear, use mimulus. For stress due to unyieldingness or ambition, use oak. Oak is for people who put themselves under too much pressure. For stress due to excessive enthusiasm, use vervain. For stress bringing us to the emotional breaking point, use cherry plum and oak. For emotional stress leading to psychosis, use cherry plum, sweet chestnut. For stress as a result of being addicted to love and popularity, use chicory and heather. For stress causing panic, use elm and rock rose. For stress and haste, use oak and vervain. For stress due to an overbearing compulsion to achieve, use oak and vervain. Stress and overwork. For stress and overwork on the verge of collapse, use elm. For imagined stress and overwork, use hornbeam. Hornbeam is for people who believe that they are not up to the task, even though they are perfectly capable. For stress and overwork caused by a lack of self-confidence, use larch. We're quickly overwhelmed when we lack confidence. For stress and overwork caused by dependence, use centaury and hornbeam. For stress and overwork leading to discouragement, use gentian and gorse. For stress and overwork with hopelessness, use elm and gorse. For stress and overwork caused by a compulsion to achieve, use elm and oak. For stress and overwork with desperation, use elm and sweet chestnut. For stress and overwork causing a retreat into the past, use honeysuckle and hornbeam. For stress and overwork caused by a lack of self-confidence, use hornbeam and larch. For stress and overwork causing resignation, use hornbeam and wild rose. Stubbornness, dogmatism, habits and routines, tension. Stubbornness and inflexibility prevent us from acting quickly. This is a cause for concern since life and growth are dynamic, expansive phenomena characterized by constant change. Tradition brings with its unchanging nature a certain amount of comfort and security, but it prevents the necessary process of renewal. Inflexibility means death, while flexibility means life. Inflexible people have a tendency towards tension, rheumatism, and degeneration. For stubbornness, dogmatism, habits, and routines with unyieldingness, use oak. Oak is needed when we're too uncompromising. For stubbornness, dogmatism, habits, and routines with oneself, use rock water. Rock water is effective against obstinate self-discipline. For stubbornness, dogmatism, habits, and routines with others, use vine. Vine is helpful for people who are inflexible and intolerant. Stuttering. Bach Flower Essences can be effective for stuttering children when we keep in mind the underlying psychic causes. Treatment often involves combining several essences. For stuttering with persistence, use gentian. Gentian prevents us from giving up too easily when we can't form our words. Persistence will help us overcome the problem. It should be given frequently. For stuttering with an excessive need for recognition, use heather. Heather is for vain children who have an urgent need for recognition and temporarily lose the ability to speak freely and fluidly. For stuttering due to nervousness, use impatience. For stuttering due to fear, use mimulus. If we have ever stuttered, it's quite natural that we will be afraid that it might recur. Mimulus is effective against these fears of negative expectations. For stuttering caused by problems with muscular coordination, use Scleranthus. Scleranthus enables the body to coordinate its efforts and allows us to properly articulate our words. It is a basic essence in the treatment of stuttering. For stuttering due to psychic trauma, use Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem can help when stuttering is being caused by psychic trauma. For trauma caused by a fear of punishment unresolved, use Pine and Star of Bethlehem. Suicide, the danger of suicide. Rescue remedies should be used in any emergency, even a potential suicide situation. For the danger of suicide due to mental anguish, use agrimony. When we try too hard to conceal our problems, we suffer twice as much. For the danger of suicide due to emotional pressure, use cherry plum. Cherry plum is helpful when we suppress our drives and emotions so severely and for so long that we lose our ability to act rationally and are on the verge of a nervous breakdown. For the danger of suicide with a death wish, use clematis. We have no joy in life because we can't come to terms with it. Typically, we want to end it all. For the danger of suicide due to total hopelessness, use gorse. For the danger of suicide due to depression, use mustard. Mustard is appropriate for any condition in which it seems as if our lives are covered by a black cloud that obscures the meaning of life from us. For the danger of suicide due to desperation, use sweet chestnut. Superficiality. For superficiality due to forced artificial behavior, use agrimony. Agrimony helps people who cannot bring themselves to face their problems and fears and seek refuge in superficial words and deeds. For superficiality in society, use heather. Heather helps people who do not seek deeper interpersonal relationships, but who are concerned only with being regarded in a favorable light. For superficiality due to haste and impatience, use impatience. People who need impatience are so driven that they have no time for deeper relationships or activities. For superficiality due to isolation, use water violet. Water violet helps bridge distance between people and fosters a deeper human relationships. Suppression, agrimony. Suppression is unpleasant and it's a natural useful function of the psyche. It protects us from any mental or emotional influences that can overpower us. The suppressed material is stored in a kind of subconscious archive, where it can be retrieved when we are ready to deal with it. It then appears in the form of a problem and affords us no rest until we solve it. The attempt to suppress or ignore problems that have surfaced in our consciousness leads to severe inner conflict. Agrimony helps put an end to this running from ourselves and helps us to tear down the facades we present to the world in an attempt to conceal the truth. The more willing we are to honestly confront the unpleasant questions and Spirit asks us, the more content we will be. The soul can accept only the truth. For suppression of fears, use aspen and agrimony. For suppression, creating excessive psychic pressure, use agrimony and cherry plum. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.